The case against a Congolese national arrested in connection with the Zanzou nightclub torture case has now been postponed to the 3rd of March for a bail investigation or a bail application. The suspect appeared briefly in the Pretoria Magistrates Court. The man, who was arrested on Thursday in Johannesburg, is believed to be one of the bouncers seen in a graphic video showing the abuse of patrons. He's been charged with compelled rape, assault with intent to cause grievous bodily harm, and criminal injuria. Several alleged victims have now come forward to lay charges of assault against the nightclub. Police are also still on the hunt for 7 other suspects. Well, our reporter Ziniko Mhlaba attended those proceedings. He joins us now live. Ziniko, good afternoon to you. So the 3rd of March is the next court appearance, and that would take us to exactly a week from now, next Monday. Tell us what unfolded in court. I imagine the appearance was quite a short one.
Yes, indeed, Michelle, it was very, very brief. And of course, to give us more details now in terms of what led to that short briefing, but also some of the rationale behind the postponement, I'm joined now by the spokesperson of NPA here in Gauteng, Ms. Lumka. Sister, thank you very much for your time. A very, very brief appearance in court today. Give us more insights in terms of the reasons, but also the purpose of the postponement.
So basically, a 41-year-old Congolese national appeared briefly at the Pretoria Magistrates Court. However, the state asked for a postponement so that we can conduct bail information. He did hand in his Home Affairs document, but the state still needs to verify whether he is indeed legal in the country.
Yeah. So there was an issue of him reporting that he could have been allegedly assaulted by law enforcement agencies. How does that then affect the proceedings here in court from the state perspective? Are you going to look into that, and how is it likely going to impact the next court appearance?
So obviously, he did indicate to the court that he was beaten up by police. However, the state would need to investigate the truthfulness of the allegations that he made. And then if that is the case, then we will move forward with that information. And if that is not the case, we'll still move on with that information. However, that will not mean that the state will not proceed with the case.
All right. Are there any more investigations that the state believes still needs to be done in regarding to this particular suspect going forward?
Yes, more investigations need to be conducted. At this stage, the accused is facing 8 counts of compelled sexual assault, 6 counts of assault, GBH. So more charges might be added if more people still come and report. You must understand, in this case, there are 2 dockets opened against the accused. There's one of 4 gentlemen, and then there's other 2 of 2 other gentlemen who then came forward after the videos resurfaced.
Thank you very much, sister. Let me release you to attend to my other colleagues. Thank you very much there for your time. That's Lunga there who speaks for the NPA in Gauteng. Just giving us more insights, but some more details, Michelle, is the fact that the gentleman indeed, as Lunga said, that when he appeared in court, he made those allegations that upon his arrest, he had the money with him, and that money was taken by law enforcement agencies, but also the fact that on his arrest, he was assaulted, but also telling the court that, he needs medical care. So that's the situation from as far as the legal presentation or the arguments which were presented by his legal team in court. Well, that's where things are at this particular point. We'll get more details now in terms of the official bail hearings or investigations that are going to be taking place between now and the 7th day, as you said, that he'll be back in court on the 3rd of March 2025. So that's where we are at this point.
Ziniko, before we let you go, perhaps a good time to just, for our viewers who might be hearing about the story for the first time, it has made headlines, but perhaps take us through the video as it resurfaced, the shocking details that emerged through that video, and the events of the past week, with, of course, the proviso that this is a graphic story that contains details of a sexual nature.
So in recent weeks, Michelle, what had happened was the fact that we saw one individual who has been, trending on social media for the past weeks or so, posting videos, and when we looked at those videos contained very, very graphic footage of young men who had allegedly, been patrons at that particular establishment called Zanzou. And of course, in those videos, we saw them being forced, to do very, very shocking and very graphic acts. One of those acts are acts of self-gratification. They've been assaulted, in different forms. Then after that, we saw law enforcement agencies reacting and saying that, they had started investigations. Those investigations led, or that call by law enforcement agencies, which had been calling for those people who had been involved as victims in those videos to come forward. So at this point, officially, 6 people have since come out saying that they have been victims and they've opened cases. But as far as law enforcement agents are concerned in their investigations, one person was seen by Johannesburg Metro Police Department in Johannesburg, in Newville. And of course, those police officials who were then at that time patrolling that vicinity, apparently identified someone who looked like some of those perpetrators in those videos. Upon approaching them, they had some chats with him, and they then arrested that individual, headed over him to the South African Police Service. Hence, we are here in court today. That gentleman was arrested last week, Thursday, in Newville. He is making his first court appearance today here at the Pretoria Magistrate Court. So that's where we are. But in terms of the charges, as Lumka had said, that mostly charges of sexual assault, charges of sexual assault, compelled rape, that is assault, and obviously what we also heard in court today, that he does have a previous conviction of theft, and he was convicted and he served that time, or he paid a fine. So as far as that matter is concerned, it's settled. He served his time and paid the necessary fine. So he's coming into this particular court with that conviction. We're not sure then whether that conviction is going to affect his bail application once he appears back here at the Pretoria Magistrate Court next week on the 3rd of February 2025. So that's what has happened in this particular case so far. However, we have not seen any members of the family in court, or at least we're not aware if they were present, as members of the media were not allowed to film or take any visuals of anyone inside court until the proceedings were officially concluded.
And in the meantime, Ziniko, police also on the hunt for 7 other suspects, they say.
Yes, that's what the officials are saying. Remember that there are several people who are seen or heard in those videos, encouraging or even forcing those victims to conduct or to perform those graphic acts on themselves. So we understand now that the police are not just hot on the heels of this particular suspect. However, he's the first one. But police believe that there are many more people who are involved. But police are also looking for the whistleblower himself, who has been populated as Pablo, who really, opened the lead on these particular acts of that particular establishment. So that's what we know so far. However, in terms of how far they are, in terms of trying to get to those other suspects or individuals who will be linked to those victims or those acts in Zanzibar, you have not had any official information whether they're looking into anyone, or if they are searching, or if they have identified people who still need to be investigated before being arrested and appearing in court. There's no official word as far as those investigations are concerned. So far, they have one person in custody, and they're still, as you said, that they're still hot on the heels of other individuals who might be affected or linked to these particular acts.
Yeah. Police on the hunt for 7 more suspects, and several other alleged victims have also come forward to lay charges against the nightclub. Ziniko Mhlaba, thanks very much indeed for that update.